In the house. We're going to be living out loud today, folks. We are going to have a wonderful, wonderful program, hear from some amazing individuals that have helped form this beautiful community that we call the West Side of San Antonio. My name is Debbie Gaitan. I have the honor of serving as today's MC. And I am Northwest Vista's interim president. As we are in the process of searching for our third president in the history, I say good for me today that I get the chance to be here. Dr. Flores, we might have delayed that just a little bit for this reason, but I don't know how much it would cost to get that truth out of me. But I cannot tell you how excited I am that this is happening on my short interim watch. I look at the faces of the individuals that are here on the front row, and I look across this beautiful, beautiful foyer and facilities, and I cannot think of a better word than joy. This is an incredible place filled with incredible people that have amazing stories that just solidify why so many years ago in 2017 there was a decision to create this space and continue to build upon the legacy that the WETC had already established for us. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge some of our guests that we have with us this morning. Our Alamo College Board of Trustee Chairman, Roberto Zarate. Do you want to stand and wave for us real quick? Yes. Chancellor Mike Flores. I love your shirt, sir. Good call. We have with us also Manuel Diaz Garza, who is the chair of the WETC Advisory Board, and so much more. So much more to this city and to this community. We'll be hearing from him later. We also have the Honorable, do I have to say your name? I know I do. For the record, Henry Cisneros is here with us today. Dr. Adelina Silva is our Vice Chancellor for Student Success here at the Alamo Colleges and was here from the very beginning. And we're going to hear from her as well. Rudy, we're here for you, man. You know that, right? So Rudy is going to have an opportunity to speak with us a little bit later in the program, and he is one of our students here at WETC who is participating in our Ready to Work program. And we might have some congratulations for you a little bit later as well. Art Hall, we have here as well, who oversees all of the sites, all the centers throughout Alamo. And we know this one is near and dear to you. We'll be hearing from Art as well. We appreciate you being here. We also have one of our trustees, Mr. Aldarete, Joe Aldarete, is here with us as well. And we also have a chair member, Ms. Bustamante, who is here. We would love for you to stand as well. In addition to these members that we have before us today, we also have Taylor Puente, who is the Deputy Regional Director from Senator John Cornyn's office. I'll go through these lists if y'all can wave and let folks see where you are in the room. We also have representatives from Congressman Joaquin Castro's office staff representatives from Diego Bernal's office, and staff representatives from Ray Lopez's office. We have representatives from the City Manager's Office, Workforce Development Office, Economic Development, and Neighborhood Housing Services. We have Ramiro Cavazos, President and CEO of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, who is here with us today. We also have Gene, where's my friend Gene Gonzalez, another individual who just could not, this place, Gene, would not be here in all its glory if it were not for you, my friend. Just amazing, amazing. We also have with us today, we have former WETC students that are here. We have current WETC students. We have Sammy Morrell. Where's Dr. Morrell? Who is just incredible work leading all of our workforce and community development. We also have Lacey Hampton. Where might Lacey Hampton be? Lacey Hampton is the director Associate Vice Chancellor. There's Lacey way up there, man. He's the Associate Vice Chancellor who helps oversee all of the gold bond work that is taking place, and we just appreciate you, respect you so much, Lace. I would also like to ask if there are any other public officials that we may not have gotten on our list to please, and I'll come right back to that. Other public officials that we may have missed, if you could just wave and let us know that you're here. Thank you all for being here. We also want to recognize that we have Jean Sprague, one of our board members who is also here. Miss Gloria Ray, one of our board members who is also here. And we also have Kara, should I leave that to you? Our only student trustee in the state of Texas. Kara is here with us today. For more than 15 years, he's going to come up and share a little bit more when Mr. Zata comes up about our wonderful board. For more than 15 years, Northwest Vista College has had the distinct privilege of providing academic programs at WETC. And we look forward to expanding our academic offerings and our community in these wonderful state-of-the-art facilities. Thank you to the architects, HKS and Associate Architect, Robbie Architects. They matched our building objectives with the community's needs and aspirations while developing a master plan that creates a campus experience that includes an important sense of belonging. Our general contractor, Joris, brought the master plan to life with this beautiful new building, which has new roadways, parking, canopies, and landscaping. Thank you all so much for creating a wonderful building that will serve as a catalyst for opportunities and access to higher education and college credentials. And now, I would like to welcome Board Chairman Roberto Zarate, who represents District 5 and has served on the board for almost 2 decades. Trustee Zarate's district includes Northwest Vista College, and he has seen growth at NVC and WETC for more than 20 years. Mr. Zarate was elected chair of the Alamo College's board in 2006, and has held positions as the Secretary, Vice Chair, the Chair of Audit, Budget and Finance, Academic Accountability, and Student Success Committees. As a retired educator, Mr. Zarate knows how a quality education will impact lives and the need of our services to evolve to help our specialized populations who may need additional resources to help them achieve their academic goals. Please help me welcome Mr. Roberto Zarate. The districts they represent, that would be really good.
Buenas tardes. Qué bonito día. Qué maravilla. It's amazing. Debbie, I have a script, and Debbie just messed it all up. So I'm going to go from El Corazón, Mr. Cineros. I want to talk about the role of the board in making this happen, because this board has been incredibly supportive of having a center here that addresses the community and how this community is important to the success of the Alamo colleges. And so I know she's introduced the board members. I've got to do this because the script says, but I want to do it because I and privileged to serve with these people. Let's start with Ana Bustamante. Ana Bustamante, she is the first female Hispana to serve as the chairman of the Alamo College's board. She's amazing. And now I know Debbie talked about how long I've served on the board, and I felt old when she did that, but let's really look at someone that's really served this board for a long, long time and has been very supportive of what we're doing. Dr. Jean Sprague. And as this board has evolved over those many years, we've had other additions that have been terrific. Joe Alderete, would you please stand up? No, everybody knows you, so just, yeah, there you go. We have a new addition to the board, and we're so proud to have her on the board, and that is Gloria Ray. And I am proud to tell you that there's only one student trustee in the whole state of Texas, and she resides here in San Antonio. Kara Sullivan, would you please stand? Going back to the thing about the role of the board and how the board has been so supportive in all of this, when I was appointed in 2003, I got a call from somebody. I don't know if you know him or not, but his name is Manuel Garza. I had no idea what I was doing. I was principal at Mary Hall Elementary, and I got a call from Manuel Garza, and he says, Roberto, what are we going to do about Lincoln? I had no idea. No idea. I had just gotten on the board. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. But Manuel was very strong about, we got to do something about it. And then, as we went forward, they formed a Blue Ribbon Committee, and they brought it to the board, and luckily I was chairing a committee that was looking at that and would move it forward for the board consideration. On a 2-1 vote, we moved forward. And ever since then, it's been unanimous. Unanimous support for this particular organization. In the, and let me look at my notes here. Oh yeah. In the 2017 bond issue, $450 million, the board passed that. And in that particular bond issue was this building and this property. And it happened. Thanks to all of you that voted for this and saw the need and the vision that we had for this. So, I will say that from that point forward, there has not been one negative vote. It's all been unanimously positive and encouraging to everyone who understood what this board wanted. And you know, it's easy to be on a board. All you have to say is yes or no. And we said yes. Yes, yes, yes. Go WETC! Look at it. And so I ruined everything they wrote for me to say. I don't care. Pero de puro corazón estoy con un orgullo tremendo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is now my honor and privilege of welcoming our Chancellor of the Alamo Community College District, Dr. Mike Flores. And Dr. Flores, as you're coming up, I'm going to share with the group a little bit about you. I'm sure they know, but it's good for them to hear a little bit. So Dr. Flores has served in various roles at the Alamo College District for more than 20 years, always committed to providing opportunities for success and socioeconomic mobility for our community. One of his signature programs is Alamo Promise, and it makes college attainable for graduating high school students in and around the San Antonio area. And under his leadership, the Alamo College's district is the only community college system in the nation to be awarded the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award, and that's a big deal, folks. The nation's highest presidential honor for performance excellence. Please help me welcome Dr. Mike Flores.
All right, thank you, Debbie, and buenas tardes. Good afternoon to each and every one of you. I think words cannot express how overjoyed each and every one of us are. I think as Chairman Sarate mentioned, right, it really is teamwork, and it really begins with the team at the top. So I do want to thank our trustees for everything that they've done. Chairman Sarate, Trustee Alderete, Trustee Bustamante, Trustee Dr. Sprague, Trustee Ray, Kara Sullivan is our student trustee, and those who are joining us virtually. I think we're fortunate in that bond issue of the $450 million that this is one of several centers, and in fact, this is the first center, education and training center, that will open. So for us, it's significant, not only going back to 2006, and as you'll hear in the program, actually a few years before that with an earlier presence, but that the Westside Education and Training Center then leads to an opening for the Southside Education and Training Center later this year. And then we hope also soon to be joined within a year of the Northwest Education and Training Center in Northwest Bexar County. So what does this look like? I know that we definitely are picking up off a rich legacy for over 15 years of the Westside Education and Training Center. This facility in and of itself, $23 million, and it doubles the square footage for the WETC. From the legacy buildings right behind me to the new construction here today. And I think I could say it doubles opportunity, but I think that opportunity is limitless. And I think that that's what each and every one of the WETCs provides. You're going to hear from Rudy soon, providing a student testimonial. But one of the things that we're most proud of here at the WETC is the community health training program, promotoras who have gone out. Do we have some in the audience? Individuals who have come and sought opportunity here at the WETC and then have provided information and opportunity to their neighbors, family, and friends throughout this community. They're individuals, Admida, where are you, Admida? And Cynthia, Admida Flores, there you are. Admida right in the back. Cynthia de la Garza Parker, where are you, Cynthia? So two students that we're highlighting, both of them came to the WETC seeking opportunity. Admida herself has now began here at WETC and earned a bachelor's degree from Texas A&M University here in San Antonio. Cynthia herself is currently a student at UT San Antonio studying communications and is employed as a research coordinator through UT Health here in San Antonio. And so I think what is significant is it has provided opportunities for thousands of students, will continue to provide opportunities for tens of thousands more. And the WETC, like anything else we do at the Alamo Colleges District, is about community. And so that is particularly significant today. I know Manuel is going to talk about all of the individuals who were part of this rich history. And so, but I want to ask those individuals who have played a role in the establishment of the WETC to please stand so we can, that includes our trustees and everybody here. If y'all can stand, and let's give each and every one of them a round of applause. Muchísimas gracias y felicidades a todos. And Debbie, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Flores. I really appreciate you and everything that you do for this community. Now it is my honor to introduce Henry Cisneros. Highlight of my life, I want you to know. But before I do, I want to share a little bit about you and the impact that you've had on the community and individuals like myself who are born and raised here and have watched your entire life as a child growing up and as an adult. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's just amazing to have you here. Mr. Cisneros went from being a councilman to the first Hispanic American mayor of a major U.S. city and served 4 terms. In 1992, President Clinton appointed Mr. Cisneros to be Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. He has been credited with initiating the revitalization of many of the nation's public housing development and with formulating policies that contributed to achieving the nation's highest ever home ownership rate. After leaving the HUD, Mr. Cisneros was President and Chief Operating Officer of Univision Communications and served on its board of directors until 2020. He has also served on many boards of directors for organizations. To name a few, he was President of the National League of Cities, Deputy Chair of the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, the Vice Chairman for Habitat for Humanity International, and now Chairman of American III, an investment firm that is a catalyst for economic development in many cities. He is also a chairman of the board of directors of equity owner of Shank Williams Cisneros & Company, LLC, and principal of Sieber Williams Shank & Company, LLC. Additionally, Mr. Cisneros founded CityView in 2003 and continues to invest actively in its projects. CityView is a partner in 13 states, building thousands of homes with a total value of over $5 billion. Honorable Henry Cisneros, please come on up.
Thank you very much. Madam President, thank you very much. Mr. Sarat, congratulations to you and to your fellow board members. To Mike Flores, who is the best leader of a community college in the United States of America, congratulations to you, Mike. Prepared well for that role and doing a tremendous job. I want to single out also Art Hall, who I've known for a long time from serving on the city council, and he now has responsibility for the seven educational and technical centers that the community college has built. Art, thank you very much for your leadership of that. To all of the public officials present and the community leaders present, and all of the supporters who made this West Side Educational and Technical Center possible. And I'd like to, if I may, just single out a couple of the leaders within the community college who are present. I think we have at least 2 that I have seen, presidents of the community colleges. President Adina Loston of St. Philip's is here. Please stand and let us recognize you. And President Robert Garza of Palo Alto College is here. So this is a day of celebration, of congratulations, and of gratitude. And those of us who have been long at work in trying to make a better San Antonio, and particularly to better West Side, this is a glorious day with a lot of streams of history and work coming together. We live in a new San Antonio. It's not the same city that it was 50 years ago when it was thought of as one of the poorest cities in America. And they did television documentaries on the level of poverty, hunger even, housing segregation, low incomes. It was not a pretty picture. But our community came together after Hemisphere in 1968, which was kind of a turning point, and committed to creating a different, a stronger, a better San Antonio. And let me tell you, with all honesty, because I've been as HUD Secretary to 200 different American cities in every single one of the 50 states, and I say with all honesty, no one has turned around a city better, more certainly than the people of San Antonio. It is a marvel. We live in a new San Antonio. And the key to turning it around was to focus on the core problem. We have poverty. We have people living with low incomes. We have families living with inadequate budgets. And all of the problems and dysfunctions that come from living in poverty. We focused on two major strategies. One, we've got to do economic development to bring jobs, create industries, raise incomes. And we spent the last 40 years or so as a community doing that. The other strategy is to make sure that the people of the community are the beneficiaries of that economic development. That the people of the community have the education and the training and the preparation to get the jobs that are created. Now, let me just say a word about those two strategies. On the economic development side, we have witnessed over the last 40 years the growth of some of our companies into major national companies like USAA and like HEB and like Valero and like New Star and some of our major banks and technology companies locally growing internally. Lots and lots of jobs. Something like 13,000 people were employed just at USAA on that one site, right? But we've also had the benefit the last few years of watching newcomers to the community and do incredible things like, how about Toyota, the largest footprint of an automotive company in the world. The largest footprint in the form of a plant is located on the south side of San Antonio. Who would have imagined that? Who would think that thousands of people and supplier companies would be located at Toyota? And Navistar, which used to be called International Harvester, they now make trucks here in San Antonio. And our cybersecurity sector, starting with Port San Antonio, that employs something like 20,000 people in high technology security that's nationally important. We just had a delegation in Washington yesterday from San Antonio working on expanding cybersecurity. And then there's Port San Antonio with Boeing and Pratt & Whitney and the Texas Biomedical Center not far from here. And of course, our biomedical sector that employs 160,000 people. So we're riding the crest of success with respect to incomes, family budgets, better quality of life for families through what we've done on the jobs front. But the other major part of the strategy has been to focus on improving the quality of education, on investing in human capital. And hence we have entities that play the role like UTSA that now has 36,000 students, and A&M San Antonio. We're the only city in Texas that has a branch of each of the two major universities, A&M and the University of Texas. And then we have burgeoning K-12 education with a lot of innovation in the grade schools, in the magnet schools, in the public schools, in the charters, et cetera, that are happening. Very exciting things with some great leadership. But I will tell you this, in all honesty, the most important educational instrument we have, the most important educational institution for the purposes of this strategy is the Alamo Community Colleges, pure and simple. And the reason is because they offer accessible education coming from the neighborhoods right here. When young people go to the community colleges, they stay in town. They develop their skills and their talent right here. And it's the kind of education that we need for the jobs that we're creating, and accessible in multiple campuses around the city. And now we have this new strategy of these educational and technical centers, and it is a wonderful day for our city when one is opened on the west side of San Antonio. I said a moment ago that a lot of streams come together on this day. One of them, of course, is the Alamo Colleges, which, as you have heard from Mr. Sarata and from the board members and from Mike, major decisions were made over the years and major investments to make this possible. This is $23 million right here in what was an Edgewood school, and now people are going to be able to get an entire associate's degree right here on the west side. It's an amazing thing. And technical education for the jobs that are needed. This is what we have been calling for. This is what we've been asking for, and here it is happening before our eyes. The other stream that comes into play is leadership. We have people who've served like for 20 years, and people like the board members who have served for multiple years, and the presidents and others. But we also have to have fantastic leadership, and it literally, I mean this very sincerely, in Mike Flores and his executive team, we have the best team in a community college anywhere in America. That's just the truth. And traditionally, people said, there are 3 community college systems in America that are the model. Miami-Dade, and it's good. Dallas Community College System, and it's good. And Maricopa, that's Phoenix, and it's good. Well, now they talk about a 4th community college that's in that league, and that is the Alamo Community Colleges of our beloved San Antonio, period. The other stream that comes together is, of course, Edgewood. The other stream that comes together in a day like today is Edgewood. This is a historic part of our city. This is a part of our city where Edgewood stood up to the whole educational establishment of this state and went to the Supreme Court and said, no, you are not going to perpetuate a system of unequal education with people not getting enough resources. Edgewood. The name Edgewood is legendary all across this state. As long as there is the history of education written, the word Edgewood is going to be on the books of the state of Texas history, pure and simple. And here we are at a former Edgewood school watching advanced education, higher education have a place to be here in the Edgewood district. The other stream, of course, is the entire west side. I've been spending the better part of the last year working on a whole series of west side strategies related to bringing better transportation, creating sites for small businesses, working with Ramiro Gonzalez, who's here from Prosper West, trying to bring capital to create sites for small businesses, and Estar West, a new umbrella that's been created to focus on the west side. I'm proud to say, my wife Mary Alice is here. We live on the west side. We grew up on the west side. Our business is on the west side. And we're here today to celebrate with you this important achievement for the west side. So let me just close by saying there's a lot of people who are due thanks today. A lot of people for whom we have gratitude today. And I want to just mention some names from history. Enrique Barrera, who was on the city council, was in the discussions about bringing a technical center like this to the west side. Of course, Danny Mesa, who's seated right over here. He and his wife Choco. And Danny's personal history includes meeting Choco Mesa at an Edgewood school and then being over here all these years. Manuel Garza, who you're going to hear from in a moment, everybody knows Manuel works himself to the bone on anything that is public service oriented, a great leader for our community. People like Joe Alderete and other members of the board who fought the inner battles in order to make sure that the funding was there for this. There are a lot of leaders, including people from COPS who have spoken up over the years for better education, community leaders, PTA leaders, Edgewood leaders. We could go on and on with the people who have a say on a day like today. And the beat goes on. This is a day along the way toward the west side having its place among all of the other sectors of advancement in our city. The dream of creating a stronger San Antonio by focusing on the willingness of our people to work hard, to raise their families, to pay their taxes, to play by the rules, to get the best education for their children. Just put the opportunity in front of us, we'll act on it, and we'll create the greatness that this city deserves together. That's what today represents. It's not just 4 walls and a building and some beautiful architecture, although it is that. But it is the destiny of our city unfolding in the way we want it to. And this WETC is going to be part of that legend. Thank you very much for allowing me to be part of it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Cisneros. Next, it is my privilege to introduce Manuel Diaz Garza. Boy, we have been leading up to you, haven't we? No pressure? No pressure. He is a social justice advocate and Westside Education and Training Center Advisory Board Chair. Manuel has dedicated his life to advocating for public education, voting rights, farm worker rights, housing, healthcare, small business, and entrepreneurial development opportunities, community economic development, community organizing, among other issues he is currently working on. Probably like 29/7. I don't think you have enough hours in the day with 24. He started his advocacy career as a young man when he participated in the 1968 walkout as a high school student at Edgewood High School, and he has continued on his way, his involvement, and makes positive change in the community. A true trailblazer, a true representative and cherished community advocate of our city and our West Side. And in case you don't know, Mr. Garza was instrumental in the establishment of WETC. Years ago, what I hear, and from what they provided with me, Manuel, is you were driving around the Highway 90 area, and you asked yourself to use the old elementary school to spur economic development along Highway 90 corridor. What could that do for this community? And it's just driving around, having that thought, but it didn't just stay there. You made it happen. You made it happen. You put that idea and that great thought to work, and here we are these years later. We celebrated almost 20 years ago, right, when WETC first opened, and then now, all this time later, to be able to acknowledge and celebrate this grand opening today. Come on up, and please share a few words with us.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Man, it's a beautiful sight. Man, you guys look great. I'm going to ad-lib a little bit, because some things have been mentioned that I think need to be mentioned as well. First of all, I started when I was 5 years old, working into my community. In my neighborhood, El Barrio del Charco, for obvious reason, it was called Barrio del Charco. It was a big puddle. And so we had water actually delivered in water barrels to our homes. And at age 5, my mom decided to go get some signatures to have actual water faucets in our neighborhood. And so that's how I learned, going door to door, picking up signatures, taking it to the farmer who owned the properties. They were still dividing up the lots, the properties into lots. And so we got water. But at the same time, I was also helping my dad, with 5 years old, helping my dad load and unload trucks. What is back then the Washington Square docks, where the Washington Square building is across from Mercado. That's what I would do. And when we finished doing that, we would go and sell door to door. That's how I learned how to block walk, and talk to people directly about, food, and in this case, food, but learning that communication skill with our community. But bringing it forward to 1968, there's a walkout in Edgewood High School. I was a junior in high school then. Edgewood was the poorest school district in the state, and probably still is the poorest urban school district in the state right now. But what we have accomplished here at WETC has all been because of the community. The community has been involved in the whole process. Joe Hernandez, who is here, one of our students, and Ludi, are you here? Ludi Hernandez, she's here. Joe came up with a, where are they? Allá están arriba, okay. Joe came up with a a saying that we asked him, what does WETC stand and what does WETC mean to you? And he says, WETC means we empower the community. And so Joe, when last time I spoke to him, he had graduated from our facilities program that we had. He was actually a manager for one of the downtown buildings. I think it was the Milan building. And now he's a custodial facilitator at Harlandale. His wife, Ludi, is now at UT Health. She's one of the promotoras, community health workers. And so she's there. Now, their interest in school and getting an education impacted their grandson, Raul. Raul decided that he was going to attend Alamo colleges. And not only that, but he went to UTSA, graduated, and is now teaching and working for Edgewood ISD in the literacy department. So that's one. Also, Guadalupe Cornejo. Guadalupe, where are you? Levanta la mano, Guadalupe. Guadalupe Cornejo was on the original committee that we met with Mayor Hartberger and staff. And we met at a restaurant, and Guadalupe actually was a community member. She had enrolled in classes. Now she's got her master's from UTSA in community health, and is one of our instructors. And so that is what, we know that our students are the best ambassadors of what happens here in WETC. And so we share with their families, their neighbors, and bottom line is, go to WETC. WETC, you will get help there. They will help you out. And so my short story actually starts with Mr. Barrera, Councilman Barrera. He and I were traveling up to Austin to advocate for housing, funds for housing, not only in District 6, which he represented, but the entire city. So as we were traveling up to Austin, he asked me, I had just gotten off the school board, and he asked me, what do you think we need to do to improve the educational capacity of our students? I said, well, we need to make sure that they have a chance to go to college, for one. And we need to find a way to make sure that we go deep into building their capacity. And Mr. Mesa can attest to this. We brought in the AVID program, advancement via individual determination, which is a program that when I was on the school board, I had seen in San Diego, California. And so I brought that program into Edgewood. I think it's now in various school districts. But that's how we started. We talked about how do we improve the capacity. So Mr. Barrera said, let's have a meeting and let's figure out what we can do. So the first meeting was held at City Hall. I invited Mr. Mesa, who was a grant writer for Edgewood, Mr. Federico Zaragoza, who was the Vice Chancellor for Economic Development. He and I had served on some technology committees, and so I knew Dr. Zaragoza's background, so I invited him to the meeting. Mr. Barrera invited Ramiro Cavazos, who was the Executive Director of the Economic Development Department of the city at the time, and Gloria S. Rodriguez, community member, and who had two children of hard of hearing, and she wanted to find out what else we could do in terms of addressing the handicapped children. So we attended the meeting, and at the first meeting, Dr. Zaragoza brought a one-page concept paper, which he had put together with Dr. Lina Silva. Lina, can you please stand up? So we used that as a starting point to develop the one-page, concept paper. Then we shared it with the superintendent at Edgewood. And then after that, we decided that it would take some time. So we decided we'd take Edgewood's administration, Alamo College's administration to meet monthly and figure out if this concept that we were talking about could work. And so after that year that we met, we said, you know what, this can work. Now we need to expand this committee. And that's when we developed the Blue Ribbon Committee. But we had a meeting at the Texas Science Health Center and hosted by Dr. Figueroa, And so Alamo Colleges was there, Dr. John Soto, Jim Erskine was there, Our Lady of Lake University, Dr. Mary Francine Danas from St. Mary's Business School, Dr. Margaret Langsford was there, Eric Overholzer, and from UTSA, Jude Valdez, and from Edgewood again, Dr. Elizabeth Garza and Daniel Mesa. So we established the Blue Ribbon Committee, and we expanded it, and it included all the city departments. The Annie Casey Making Connections stepped forward, and nonprofits, a bunch of nonprofits came to the table, businesses, and we engaged in monthly meetings for another year. And that was, those meetings were facilitated by Dr. Soto, Rosie Castro, and Daniel Mesa. So the last 20 years, it's taken us 20 years to get to where we're at. And so after the initial planning that we did, and we opened the doors, we had expected to have 300 students the first year. We had 3,000, and it hasn't stopped. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today. So again, our students are the best ambassadors. We wouldn't be anywhere without our students. And so that's what my message to you is that let's continue the growth. It is a beacon in our community. It does shine, not just here in the West Side, and it serves a big purpose to Edgewood, but also the entire West Side. A lot of our students come from the 78207 zip code, the Lanier area, and Edgewood, 78237 zip code. That's where primarily the students from WETC are from. But as we learned that first year, we had students from all over the county and outside the county, having the same needs to have the strength of their educational capacity built up so they can really compete and not only graduate, but excel. And it's not just about surviving, it's about excelling and making sure that we prosper. So our community can't prosper, our state can't prosper, our country can't prosper. So thank you very much for being here. And there's food in the back. One person that I want to recognize right now, I just saw her, Irma de Leon. Irma was also part of our initial committee and is with Family Services and provides wraparound services to our students. That is one thing that does happen. We are about our students. If we weren't about our students, we wouldn't be here. But thank you very much for joining us, and I'll turn it over back to Debbie.
Thank you so much. And I would like to acknowledge that we have two other guests that are here. Eduardo Ed Hernandez, the Edgewood Superintendent, is here. And we also have the Assistant Superintendent, Phil Chavez. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Can you the advisory board?
And you want to share with us?
Yes, and I got you all to sit over there, but could the WETC advisory board please stand up? I don't do anything without talking to them.
I like that you stay together, right? You can kind of find that place of comfort. Thank y'all so much for your great work. And thank you, Manuel, so much. We are grateful for all you do. Next, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Adelina Silva, the Vice Chancellor for Student Success for the Alamo Colleges. And she has held several positions in Alamo for 45 years, and a few of those were counselor, founder and director of the San Antonio Women's Center, project director for federal programs and student services, vice president for student success at Palo Alto, district director of student and community programs development, and vice president of student program development. Dr. Silva has the honor of being one of those individuals that can say she was here from the beginning. Come on up, Dr. Silva.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know that, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. I know that I'm the person that probably is keeping you from finishing the speakers and hearing from our student, which is what we're all about. So I would like to just make a few comments about, I see a lot of folks that I know, and I love your smiles. Thank you so much. I'm so proud to be part of this ribbon cutting because I was part of the planning process to bring the center here. And it was a time when, like, often we look at data. We have our illustrious Chancellor, Dr. Mike Flores, who we always are data-driven, and we always look at metrics. But back in 1998, in the fall of 1988, the Alamo Colleges was looking at the fact that some of the students in this area and other areas, the south side, there were quadrants in the city, the west side, the south side, and the east side that was not accessing colleges to the Alamo Colleges. And at the time we had possibly all 4 colleges, but we didn't have the numbers we wanted. So the chancellor at the time, Robert Ramsey, asked me to lead that effort, and we came to different parts of the city to talk to individuals about establishing some type of contact with the community, with students, with potential students, with just trying to create a college-going culture and to introduce the idea that college was possible. So quickly here, in 1998, I came and I knocked on the door of the Edgewood ISD superintendent. At the time, it was Dr. Dolores Munoz. She was superintendent of Edgewood, to discuss the concept of a community education center that would serve as a port of entry. We had envisioned that it would serve as a place where you can come and find out about college, where you could actually apply for college, where you could do assessment, talk to a counselor, just to find out what it would take and what it would, how we could support you from the Alamo Colleges. So the building that is not the former WETC, but there's a building out this way, that was where we established the very first center. It was formerly called the Competency-Based High School, and that's where we started the WETC. And that, it wasn't the WETC, it was called the Westside Community Education Center. And our first coordinator, director, was actually Jean Gonzalez. We had one on, Jean, we had one on the south side. We established one on the south side in Harlandale ISD, and Carmen de Luna Jones is here. She actually opened the first one. And then we had one on the east side in partnership with St. Paul's United Methodist Church, and that was led by Margaret Quintanilla, who is already retired. But just quickly about that work, we started in 1998. Immediately, it was just about going to college. Then we were able to start applications for a federal grant. And there was a federal grant that would actually sponsor what was called then community technical centers. And so we combined the community technical centers with our existing Westside Education, Community Education Center, and we were able to open a center that adults could come, that local individuals could come and look up the access, had an internet. This was parents, this was business owners, this were individuals at the beginning of internet that could come and look for jobs, apply for jobs, or apply for financial aid, or do their homework after school if they had assignments, or do research for their college or their high school or any kind of research. We actually became a community center. And so at that point, we decided, okay, now we are in fact a Westside Communication Center and a technical center, but it still was not the WETC. But in that period of time, between 1998 and 2006, we served over 8,000 documented folks. And I see Shirley Pena, who was part of that activity. There's a lot of people that have helped with that. So now, in 2001, when we opened the Westside Education Center, and that was born, there was a gentleman then in charge, the superintendent of Edgewood. And for those of you in the Edgewood family, I'm sure you remember Dr. Noé Sanceda. He was the one that stood in the photo along with then Mayor Ed Garza and our Chancellor, Robert Ramsey, several of our Alamo College's board members, and myself and an Edgewood student. So we opened the center. It was very it was just futuristic thinking that we could come to your community, interact with you, and provide the dream for any and every student that would envision that they could have something possible, like either a credential, a high school diploma, a college credential, an associate's degree, or anything else. We were expanding horizons, and I was just so glad to be part of it. And really, it changed the trajectory of the Alamo College's enrollments from Edgewood ISD. So I want to say the 15 to 20 computers came on a grant, but the care of everyone that came with it was all Alamo Colleges based, and it was just wonderful. So I'd like to say the information about the other center, when we finally, along with Dr. Zaragoza and Manuel, we went from that building and then we went to a larger building. And there I want to just give you really briefly some information about that. That was home originally to Lincoln Elementary. And I want to say that in 1959, that was the home for Lincoln Elementary, and both Black and Hispanic children went to school there. And this is amazing that just 5 years before that school opened, that San Antonio was one of the first major cities in 1954. And I have to say, I was alive in 1954, but not attending school, is that we would desegregate schools following the U.S. Supreme Court decision of Brown versus the Board of Education, where many African Americans moved near and around the WETC and actually joined all the students there. It was an integrated school at that time. So now, today, we have this shared mission with Lincoln Elementary, providing a place where students can visualize hope and prosperity, where there is a caring and inclusive culture, where everyone is welcome to take opportunities for advancement for themselves and their entire families. It is such a pride to be with you today, to be able to share that history and to tell you this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning.
Thank you so much. And before I do our next, we're coming your way in just a second. I have a guest that I was asked to recognize. Lincoln Elementary School's first principal, Elizabeth Wren, has a relative, Glenn Lattimore, that is here today. Glenn, where are you, Glenn? Y'all know where? I don't see. Do y'all know where he is? And Councilwoman Rosie Castro is here as well. Where is Councilwoman Castro? Okay, very good. I see you back there, Rosie. Yes, thank you for being here. Thank you, Dr. Silva, again, for your words and for everything that you've done for WETC and for the Alamo Colleges. And now I'd like to introduce Rudy Gonzalez. Rudy is going to share how he started his educational journey through Alamo College's high school equivalency program and is now a ready-to-work participant here at WETC. Everyone, I would like you to know that there is also a little something new in your life these days, from what I understand as well. So Rudy's going to share a little bit about his story. Before he does, we would also like y'all to give him a round of applause. He has become a new daddy. March 1st, he became a new daddy. And on behalf of WETC and the Alamo Community College, this is for you, for your baby boy. Congratulations. Come on up and share a little bit about yourself, Rudy.
Thank you, Dr. Silva and Alamo Colleges, for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. If it weren't for WETC helping me to figure out my educational journey, I would still be lost. At the age of 16, I dropped out of high school. I bounced around in many different middle and high schools and lost credit along the way. To name a few, I attended Brennan, Taft, and Kennedy High School. When I learned I had more years left in school than I thought, I got frustrated and gave up. My stepmom told me about the GED program at Alamo Colleges, and I eventually signed up. She always told me to do more with my life. Before earning my GED, I barely made ends meet with minimum wage jobs. I would always put on applications that I didn't have a high school diploma, and it was holding me back. Now I'm making better money and trying to earn my commercial driver license certificate with the Ready to Work program. My son was born on March 1st, and while having a child is a motivating factor, it was actually Alamo Colleges and WETC that was a motivation force for me to believe in myself. I have been telling others about WETC and Ready to Work. I'm one of your biggest brand ambassadors. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Rudy. You have everybody behind you. It is now my honor to introduce Art Hall, Alamo College's Director of Center Operations. He oversees WETC along with other education and training centers in district and is very invested in each of those communities, Art. We're just so thankful to have you here, a part of our Alamo Colleges family. Come on up. I am going to let you share the situation that we're in, and I just want y'all to know that this man is stepping up not only to speak, but to just do us some great honor today.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, to the Board of Trustees and Chancellor. Thank you all for being here with us to celebrate. As we close out to today's ceremony, as we move into this brand new building, we also wanted to honor the building that we're exiting and the amazing history here on the west side, particularly the African American history. The program that you have has a little bit of a history on the back. And if it wasn't clear, the school behind us, Lincoln Elementary School, was the segregated school for African Americans. And so it was one of the first schools that was desegregated as we came into the new environment here in the U.S. And so that history, that African American history in particular, is pretty amazing. We went around to try to find some of the folks that were involved there. I'm glad to hear that Principal Wren's family member is here. There he is, if you could stand up for us. So we want to recognize Principal Wren and what she was doing as well. As we did our research, we also found that there was only one remaining teacher African American teacher from Lincoln Elementary School. And I called her the other night. I was trying to see if she would be here. I wasn't sure if she was going to be here or not, but she is. And it's Kathy Elliott. If you would please stand. So it's good to see her in person. I was on the phone with her, but it's great to see her in person as well. But we want to celebrate Lincoln Elementary School. We want to celebrate the African American history that Lincoln Elementary School represents and the African American history here on the west side. And in doing so, we contacted San Antonio's poet laureate. If you don't know her name is Andrea Sanderson. She goes by the name of Vocab. And so she's not able to be here with us today due to unforeseen circumstances, but she prepared a poem for us. She's a spoken word poet, and I'm going to read just a little bit of her poem, and it's a gift that she has given to us. The poem is called The Womb of the West Side. The Womb of the West Side. Black isn't notoriously known for being associated with the West Side, but adaptation and celebration of Hispanic and Latin culture comes with the territory. Living amongst our Tejano brothers and sisters doesn't diminish our glory. Diversity enhances experience. Yes, diversity enhances experience. We found love and affectionate assembly in Camargo Park off Highway 90. We built community and played hard. We fed our imagination at Johnston Library, turning the pages to evolve our thoughts. From Valley High to Hunt Lane, we've been abiding. Brown-skinned kin have been melding into urban nooks and crannies with deeper pigments, leaving indentations in the topography. Families have been cultivating homegrown from Acme to Southeast Military, enrolling little ones into Lincoln and E.T. Wren, all black schools that blended into the history of academic blueprint. Kennedy and Memorial High Schools were planted in the tender streets of our city's soil, and they still raise a testimonial to the oil of knowledge received by sepia seedlings. Poet Ariana Brown, comedian Cliff Simmons, Texas women's basketball All-American Clarissa Davis, and NBA power forward Charles Bo Outlaw are all diamond cut from the West Side with no flaw, just dazzling clarity. The Edgewood Independent School District educated a myriad of hazelnut-hued children, and so did Holmes and John Jay High School. Students attended Westside Education and Training Center and went into their career fields to leave an imprint on the nation skillfully. They left indelible impressions on industry from training they received. Alamo Colleges has always been an education pillar in the community, a place to grow with resiliency. Diversity enhances experience. Yes, diversity enhances experience. These are powerful words from vocab. Although she couldn't be here with us, this is her gift to us, and it's our gift to you. They're available on the side here. We want to thank NVC for silk screen printing these poems. So it's our gift to you. Thank you, vocab. Thank all of you for being here to celebrate the grand opening of the Westside Education and Training Center.
Wow. And with that, thank you all, our special guests, our friends and family who are here with us today. We honor the memory of Miss Wren and her accomplishments, and thank you so much for her family being here today. We are proud of our students like Armida Flores, Cynthia de la Garza Parker, our new daddy here, Rudy, we're so proud of you, who are shining star mentors, resources, and connectors. Jean, again, we got to come full circle, my friend, and thank you for all that you have done. You've committed your entire life to this center. Manuel Diaz for advocating and supporting. We are proud of our Alamo colleges for establishing our Westside Education and Training Center as prominent fixtures in our neighborhood and providing a beacon of hope for Lincoln Elementary School did so many years ago and repeating that wonderful practice. I'd like to have all of our friends and family and colleagues from Northwest Vista College who came on down the corridor to be here today. Could y'all please stand and be recognized, our staff, our faculty, administrators that are here from Northwest Vista. Thank you so much. Let's now welcome everyone back up here for the official ribbon cutting. And please stay, mingle. If you don't know somebody in this room, wow, you must not be from San Antonio. So make sure you leave with new friends, new business cards, new connections, new partnerships. Let's get this done together. Stay for refreshments. Thank you all for being here and have a wonderful, wonderful, safe afternoon.
1, 2, 3.